Welcome to IP version 6 configuration example on Cisco Packet Tracer. My name is Gökhan Kösem, and in this lesson we'll configure IP version 6 on Cisco routers. Let's start. Firstly, we will enable IP version 6 globally on each router, and we will also enable IP version 6 on the interfaces. Let's start with router 1. We will use IP version 6 unicast routing to enable IP version 6 on the routers. Then we will enable IP version 6 on the interfaces, and we'll also use no-shut command here. And for the other interface, yes, and let's do the same things on the router 2. Yes, as you can see, our interfaces are up now. In this IP version 6 configuration, we will use 4 different configuration techniques, and so on each interface we will configure IP version 6 differently. For the first interface of router 1, we will use IUI64 format, and on the second router we will use manual IP version 6 configuration, and again on router 1's the second interface will configure manual link local configuration, and then at the second interface of router 2 we will use autoconfig for link local IP version 6 address. So let's start. We'll copy this, and yes, again on the other side on router 2 we'll use the manual IP version configuration. Let's copy from here. As you can see here, I will write the whole IP version address. Yes. Let's check our IP version 6 interface. As you can see, our IP version 6 address is here, the subnet is here, and let's do the same thing on router 1. Yes, as you can see, our subnet is as we have configured, but these are created automatically with IUI format, IUI64 format. Now let's use IP version 6 ping to test our connectivity, IP version 6 connectivity. To do this, we'll ping from router 1 fast Ethernet 00 interface to router 2's fast Ethernet 00 interface. And let's do this, and we will copy here, but we will copy only the address part here. Yes, as you can see, our ping is successful. Let's try from the other part. To do this, we'll check the automatically created IP version 6 address here. Yes. As you can see, this ping is also okay. Now let's configure the second interfaces of the routers for link local addresses. Here we'll go to configure mode again, and fast Ethernet 01. We will use this address and link local keyword. Yes, let's check. Yes, as you can see, our manual configured link local address is here, and let's do this on router 2 with auto configuration. As you can see, our auto configured link local address is here. Let's try to ping from router 1 to router 2. And firstly, let's get the link local address here. And here it's asking output interface. Our output interface is fast Ethernet 01. So we'll write this one here. Yes, as you can see, our ping is successful. And one more thing, let's talk about the DHCP on this router. For example, if we want to configure an interface about DHCP, or in other words, if we want fast Ethernet 01 to get the IP address automatically from DHCP server, we can say that IP version 6 address DHCP, and after that this interface gets its IP address from the IP version 6 address from the DHCP server. But in this example we have no DHCP server. I will write this only to show you. And now let's go to the show commands about IP version 6, and we can see the available commands about IP version 6. As you can see, access lists, CEF, DHCP, EIGRP, and a lot of options here. For example, let's show IP version 6 DHCP options. It is here. And let's check further any other selection. Yes. Before we have configured fast Ethernet 01 as the member of DHCP server, so it is the interface that gets IP address from the DHCP server. It's also here. Now let's check the other selections. Show IP version 6 neighbors. As you can see, our neighbors here. and the other alternatives, router protocols, IP version 6 protocols. Here we have no IP version 6 protocols, we have only connected and static routes here. So what are the other selections? Let's lastly check. We can check the IP version 6 routes. Here, as you can see, only the directly connected interfaces and local interfaces are here. And we can also check IP version 6 interface command. As we have checked before, we can see all the IP version 6 interfaces here. And this is it. In this IP version 6 configuration example, we have configured Cisco routers for IP version 6. And we have configured different interfaces with different IP version 6 configuration styles.